Communities dealing with flooding from earlier this week are bracing for more rain tonight as the possibility of severe weather grows.
And watch where you park in downtown Janesville, why police plan to start enforcing parking restrictions there.
This is News 3 at 6.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We are seeing a windy start to the evening as powerful storms move closer to southern Wisconsin.
And we turn things over right away to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti, who has been monitoring our chance of severe weather all day. Gary?
Eric, I think those chances are continuing to climb. It's been warm and humid all day long. We've been flirting with record high temperatures. It's been windy, and a cold front coming in from the west will be the trigger to trigger a line of thunderstorms. Now, the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe thunderstorms over all of southern Wisconsin, an enhanced risk for the possibility for some damaging tornadoes up in the northern portion of the state, where a tornado watch has already been issued until 11 p.m. However, you can see southern Wisconsin right now in the clear. Storm Prediction Center watching this area for potential for a new weather watch as line of thunderstorms starts to develop out to the west and heads in our direction. In fact, future Doppler track over the next 3 hours shows a couple of lines of thunderstorms sweeping through southern Wisconsin, so they should be developing pretty rapidly over the next couple of hours, and they bring the potential for high winds, hail, maybe even the possibility for a tornado or two. We'll have to see whether or not they issue a severe thunderstorm or a tornado watch. As we look at low temperatures from this morning, we started out in the middle 50s, but those temperatures warmed up into the middle 80s. Our high of 84 so far unofficially. Record high for today, 85, set back in 2005. Milwaukee did tie a record high temperature. Right now we're at 83 degrees with dew point temperatures in the mid 60s to the lower 70s. That, coupled with strong winds at 15 to 25 miles per hour or stronger, will lead to more thunderstorms. Those will end by around midnight or a little after. And then for tomorrow, much cooler weather moves in. High temperature about 30 degrees cooler at 56 degrees. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. Western parts of our viewing area, including Lafayette County, are bracing for more flooding. Our Keely Arthur has a look at things now and what's ahead.
With this bridge out on Main Street in Darlington, that means school is out too, as the Pecatonica River reaches levels much higher than originally predicted.
I just checking it out.
With temps in the 80s, a whole lot of water.
You know, it's quite high on the way in, so.
And a Wednesday off from school. It feels more like a summer day at the beach for high school staff member Barbara Zander than an early October work week.
Oh yeah, I kind of like it. I'm sure all the kids are enjoying it also.
Oh yeah, I mean it's 80 degrees.
Right.
It's like a little extra day of summer.
As you can see from the one playing in the water here.
Yeah. As Xander spent the day with her favorite hobby and kiddos took a dip.
It's quite warm on the edge of it, but then it gets colder as you go in.
Authorities worked overtime. Darlington Police and Lafayette County Sheriff's officials equally surprised that the Pecatonica River, expected to crest under 14 feet yesterday, reached 15.8 today.
The chief talked to the National Weather Service this morning, and their projections obviously are well under what it actually is.
Sheriff Reg Gill says steady rain saturated the earth to the point where it no longer had anywhere to go. Thankfully, though, most of the situation is under control for now.
Most of the roads that are going to be flooded are flooded right now. It's just a matter of how long they're going to stay flooded. The waters are receding. It's just not very fast.
About an inch an hour, not quick enough with expected rain tonight.
It's going to come right back up.
A fluid situation that could perhaps lead to another hard day of work or a day off, depending on who you are.
You know, the kids have to travel through this to get to school, so it's just a better safety, you know, for the kids not to have to drive through this.
And as you saw in that video, it is very tempting to want to take a dip in this water, especially with these warm temperatures. But please do not swim or drive in the flood waters so everyone can stay safe. In Darlington, Keely Arthur, WISC News 3.
For updates on road and school closures, you can go to our website, channel3000.com. And Madison leaders are working to fix some frequently flooded roads in the city, but won't work on that until 2021. City engineers want to add a storm sewer drain in addition to the one already in place near University Avenue. This is part of a construction project there. They believe this will help reduce the street flooding in Midvale and Shorewood Boulevards.
It's been planned for a while. We knew this. We've known this area has been an issue for a while, and knew when the street was slated to get reconstructed would be the time to install that pipe.
Back in 2013, a smaller project to add an additional storm sewer was approved for 2019. However, once the larger University Avenue project was budgeted, officials say they decided to schedule it all at once.
If you're looking to cast an absentee ballot in the upcoming election, you'll want to take a close look at an application form sent to some voters by mail this week. A News 3 viewer let us know about this absentee ballot request form sent by the Center for Voter Information. She is a longtime Oregon resident, but the form and a prepaid envelope directed her to send it back to the Prairie du Sac clerk. The State Elections Commission says the form is legitimate if the information is filled out correctly, but they encourage voters to get a form from a different source.
Generally, what we tell people is, especially this time of year, if you get information about absentee voting or about registering to vote in the mail, your best thing, if you need to do that, you don't need to use middle people.
The Center for Voter Information, a Washington, D.C. based group, told News 3 in a statement that it sent out 270,000 of these statewide and that they go to great lengths to provide accurate information and addresses on all mail pieces.
It is back to the drawing board for the Consolidated County Jail. Last night we told you about the complications with the project, and today the Jail Project Committee met to talk about their options. Amy Reed joins us now live from the top of the Public Safety Building to show us the issues and tell us more about this new plan. Amy?
Yeah, here on top of the Public Safety Building is where the county originally wanted to build the new jail. They were going to build it up about 3 stories from here, and you can see the original infrastructure actually supported that, these columns coming up through the roof. But the latest study the county had showed that that wasn't going to be feasible, and it likely wouldn't stand up to the wind. Over here, I'll show you Plan B. This is the parking lot behind the Public Safety Building. You can see Lake Monona there in the background. This is where they're hoping to build a new jail, up about 7 stories in order to make up for that smaller base in the top of this building. Coming up tonight at 10, I'll show you what they're planning for the inside and why they say those improvements are absolutely necessary.
All right, we look forward to that. Amy Reed, live downtown. Amy, thank you. Madison's mayor says the 2019 city budget focuses on building a safer community and improving the economy. Mayor Sogin wants to add $300,000 to peer support programs that help address the rise of violence. He added $400,000 to those programs last year after the city saw an increase in homicides. He says since then there have only been a couple homicides in the last 15 months, the most recent taking place over last week on the east side.
You can help fund the expansion over at Olbrich Botanical Gardens from now until Tuesday. Madison is selling $500 bonds on a first-come, first-served basis. They are 10-year notes, at which time people can cash them in and collect interest. The money collected will help pay for the construction of a new learning center and an energy-efficient greenhouse where staff will be able to grow even more flowers and plants. We have more information on the bonds on our website, channel3000.com. Police in Janesville say they will start enforcing street parking after not doing so for years. Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with why some say this is a good thing. Adam?
Well, Charlotte, people that live and work in downtown Janesville know that parking enforcements aren't really enforced all too much, but coming up in November, that's going to change when police begin to ticket cars that are parked in those timed areas. Some nearby businesses I talked to today say this is a good thing because they say cars would take up parking spots closest to their business for hours without moving. Now, again, the month of October will be a bit of a transitionary period where police will be giving warnings rather than tickets, but starting November 1st, that's when the tickets are going to be rolled out. To hear more from business owners as well as police and people who work downtown, you can check out our website, channel3000.com.
Adam, thank you.
It's time to start thinking about Badger basketball if you haven't already. Single game tickets are on sale right now for men's games. The Badgers play UW-Oshkosh at the Kohl Center November 2nd in an exhibition game, and then they start non-conference play 4 days later. Last year, the Badgers, of course, a bit of a disappointing season. 9th in the Big Ten, failed to reach the NCAA tournament.
It is a ride to school unlike any other.
They did this for him. Very special.
The story behind this boy's smile and his unusual commute. That's next at 6. A DeForest Elementary student is home from school after a pretty wild morning.
Because of his participation in a school fundraiser, he won quite a ride. Danica Lewis shows us why this was a commute to remember.
Any other day, this would have been Doug's ride to school, because most Wednesdays are pretty routine at Yahara Elementary. But this ride was a little bit louder.
This morning I woke him up and I told him, Dougie, guess what's coming today? And he's like, what? I'm like, fire truck. And he's like, bounce up, I'm ready to go.
After a brief lap around town, Doug's friends were there to greet him at school.
When his classmates came out, just to see the look on his face of just pure joy and excitement.
Not to mention, Doug had plenty to talk about.
He's borderline autistic, so he has like speech impaired. He's getting into more playing with other kids. Before he didn't want anything to do with them, and now he wants everybody to play with him.
He wanted everyone to know how he got to school. I mean, how could you keep quiet about this?
Just getting off the truck and telling all his friends all about the fire truck and the things that he learned, he was super excited.
Excited, but still not completely sold on a new career track.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, no.
Do you want to be a firefighter?
Player.
A football player?
What could have been a very normal ride to school becomes a conversation starter for the ages.
Something like this that he talks about all the time and watches all the time, that they did this for him. Very special.
Special for Doug and everyone else who was a part of it.
This is an experience you hold with yourself for a while.
In DeForest, Danica Lewis, WISC News 3.
I love this story so much. The school district tells us Doug Taiji was randomly drawn from the fire truck ride, and nobody believed it at first because they all knew how much he loves them.
He's pretty excited about it. Great story, Danica. Well, the Brewers prepare for tomorrow afternoon's big playoff game against the Colorado Rockies.
And are you confused about that alert you got on your phone earlier today? What it's designed to do is next at 6.
And in weather, we're being monitored for a possible severe weather watch over the next hour or so as a line of thunderstorms heads in our direction. I'll have your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Ashley.
Welcome back. Your cell phone was buzzing with a purpose this afternoon.
The federal government was testing its presidential alerts for the first time. At 1:18 p.m. our time, you should have gotten this message on your screen saying this is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. A few minutes later, the message was on TVs and radios. There's no need to panic. This alert cannot be turned off, and with good reason. It is designed to warn you of a real emergency like a terror attack or a widespread natural disaster. Wisconsin Emergency Management says there are a number of checks to make sure the alert does not go off automatically here.
For anyone in need of a winter coat, our Coats for Kids handout event coming up soon. We're close to 4,300 coats now, and if you're looking to still donate, Clinky Cleaners and the Lucier Family YMCA locations are taking coats through Saturday. And speaking of those alerts, Gary, I'm hoping we don't have any severe weather alerts tonight, but you're certainly keeping a close eye on things.
There's a tornado watch just north of our viewing area, and all of southern Wisconsin is being monitored for a possible severe thunderstorm or a tornado watch. Probably within the next hour. Storm Prediction Center says about an 80% chance that they will be issuing a watch here. What they're waiting for is to see these thunderstorms develop a little more rapidly to the south and west. You can see we're getting closer to sunset, so now the sun lower in the sky doesn't illuminate the clouds on the visible satellite imagery, but a powerful cluster of thunderstorms moving through northern Wisconsin and another line of storms developing back out to the west of it. You can see these lines of thunderstorms moving through northern Wisconsin. Now we're starting to see that development back into Iowa, and from basically eastern Iowa through all of southern Wisconsin. That's the area that will be at risk for the potential for some more severe weather. Slight risk of severe thunderstorms here. The highest risk up in northern Wisconsin was the potential for an isolated strong tornado or two across northeastern Wisconsin into parts of the UP of Michigan. Also the potential for widespread wind damage from 75-mile-an-hour or stronger winds north of Green Bay up into the northern portions of Lake Michigan, and the threat for large hail highest just to the south of Rhinelander, but still some threat for hail here. Future Doppler track over the next 3 hours shows this line of storms really coming together, and maybe another little line popping out ahead of it. Already we're seeing some thunderstorm development over parts of southwestern Wisconsin. And then the rainfall, well, we could be looking at maybe a quick quarter to half inch of rain tonight, but more rain on the way for tomorrow night into Friday. That could bring generally about a 1 to 2 inch rain from Madison southward, a little less up to the north. But looking longer term through much of next week, when we're expecting off and on rain just about every day, take a look at what the GFS computer model shows, and you head through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the rain totals just keep going up. And there's the potential that we could see several inches of rain over the next 7 to 10 days, which is not going to help the flooding situation at all. Live view from the Platteville Queen Radio Skycam, you can see the clouds starting to thicken up as thunderstorms develop over parts of southwestern Wisconsin. The WISC Skycam looking off toward the east shows partly cloudy skies here. The Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, now the capital in the shade from the clouds. As we look at the almanac for today, our high of 84, just 1 degree below the record high of 85. It's 55, the overnight low temperature, well above the normal of 43. We're at 83 now. The heat index at 85 with dew-point temperatures in the upper 60s. Winds out of the south-southwest at 6 miles per hour. While we're in the 80s, temperatures are in the 30s over northwestern Minnesota, and dew-point temperatures 60s and 70s drop off rapidly. So those thunderstorms developing right in that area of high humidity, winds coming in out of the south, colliding with winds coming in from the northwest. That's where that line of thunderstorms developing from about the Twin Cities back into northern Iowa, and that will be here over the next few hours. Forecast for tonight, look for a low temperature of 46. After the evening thunderstorms move out, skies will turn partly cloudy and it'll be breezy and cooler. So then for tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies, but it'll be breezy and much cooler. Our high of 56 degrees, almost a 30-degree drop in temperatures from where we were today. On future track, you can see those lines of storms racing through overnight. Skies clearing out by morning with low temperatures in the mid-40s. High temperatures tomorrow only in mid-50s. Tomorrow night, more clouds move in. The rain develops by early on Friday morning, and we see off and on shower and thunderstorm chances Friday into early Saturday. High temperatures on Friday only in the upper 50s. And again, those rainfall amounts probably in the 1 to 2 inch range from Madison southward, a little bit less to the north. 7 to 10 day forecast. Rain in the forecast off and on pretty much through most of next week. Temperatures cool for the weekend, warming up early to middle part of next week, and then cooling back down toward the end of the week.
The Brewers are a confident bunch heading into the National League Division Series against the Colorado Rockies. The story's coming up in sports.
News 3.
It's the Brewers and Colorado Rockies in the National League Division Series starting tomorrow at Miller Park. Game 1, first pitch just after 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Game 2 is Friday afternoon just after 3. The first 2 games will be televised by FS1. Game 3 will be in Colorado Sunday afternoon, 3:37 Central Time. The Brewers won the regular season series with the Rockies 5-2. Brewers worked out at Miller Park this afternoon. You would think they would have a lot of advantages on their side, from a home field advantage to having their bullpen completely rested for the start of the series. The Brewers were glad they didn't have to play that wild card game in Chicago last night.
I don't think anybody wanted to be in that game, and we earned the right to kind of sit and wait and see who it was, and the Rockies came out on top. So that's who's next.
When the situations become big, when the emotion becomes great, it's easy to get off track. If you kind of stay on what you're good at, stay on the important things, then the situation can take you higher and make you do things and allow you to do things as a player that you can even amaze yourself.
Well, the Cubs are facing a lot of questions after their loss in the wild card game last night. The first question has been answered. Manager Joe Madden will be back in 2019. Madden will be the final year of a 5-year, $28 million contract, but the Cubs won't offer Madden an extension right now. Of course, that Cubs season ended in disappointing fashion last night as a Rockies backup catcher, Tony Walters, drove in the winning run of the 13th inning of the Rockies' 2-1 win of the National League wildcard game. So the Cubs won 95 games this season, yet have a very empty feeling, losing in the National League Central tiebreaker and the wildcard game in consecutive days. Congratulations to Cheryl Austin of Fitchburg, who's this week's winner in the Channel 3000 Pro Pigskin Pick'em Challenge. She wins a $100 gift certificate from Christie's Landing in Wake Wabisa. You can enter your own pro picks for this week by going to the contest section at channel3000.com. The Milwaukee Bucks open Fiserv Forum tonight with a preseason game against the Chicago Bulls. In addition to that first game at the new arena, it's the return of Jabari Parker, who left the Bucks to sign with the Bulls in the offseason. The Prep Mania High School Football Game of the Week, Friday night, great matchup. Badger South Conference. Stoughton visits Monona Grove. Will be live with the game on TBW and Channel 14 and live streaming on channel3000.com Friday night at 7. And the 6th-ranked Badger volleyball team plays at 7th-ranked Illinois tonight. A week ago tonight, the Badgers played at Minnesota. They were routed in 3 sets. Then Saturday, they won at Purdue. Head coach Kelly Sheffield sounded like one of the great children's authors explaining that.
Just being gritty. At Purdue, it wasn't pretty, but it was, it was certainly gritty. I just realized that I'm this close to sound like a Dr. Seuss book.
I do not like green eggs in ham.
He's got some rhyme skills there. All right, chilly tomorrow. It's going to change.
Yeah, first we have to deal with the potential for some severe weather. Let's take a look at the radar if we can. I guess we can't go to the radar. Anyway, we're watching some storms developing over southwestern Wisconsin. They'll be moving in over the next few hours.
Gary, thanks. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.